Good afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mia Luyando. Today we are going to work on some snow and how to make snow look like it's drifting or piling up, how to give snow depth. When you're working with something that's mainly white, whether it's cotton or clouds or snow or whatever it might be, sometimes it's a little intimidating getting the shadows in there just right to make the white parts look really, really white. The trick of it is in the shadows, so we're going to work on that today. I've got our book Luna. We're going to work on this one. And right now I'm going to use some pencils. I got these pencils from Amazon. They are a Morandi set of pencils, which just means they are muted shades. They're earthy, muted shades. And that was the brand. It just said, when I bought them, that was the brand. It just said Morandi Pencils. So I will put a link to them in the description down below if you're interested in giving them a try. They're nice. I like the colors, and I've enjoyed using them so far. But we're gonna jump in. We should have time. I'm going to do this area down here with the pencils, and then we might find a different picture and work on the same thing with some Neocolors. That's also a good way to get snow fast. You can lay your shadows down pretty quickly with that, with a paintbrush. And so we'll jump right in. But first, pencils. So what we're going to do is, depending on, obviously each person is doing their own picture their own way. I'm going to make this water like a deep blue. I'm not going to make it black or murky or anything, but I'm not going to go over every little part of the dark gray scale. I'm just kind of hitting it here and there. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. I'm just kind of letting the dark gray scale work for me so that it looks, really dark and black and murky in some places. But this is more like ice. It's not really murky. It's more like a black ice situation happening here, but we still want the water to look blue. Now when we come around in front of her body, let me zoom back out just a little bit. I don't want to lose ya. Obviously when we add her skin and everything, that's going to be beneath the water, and that's a totally different lesson, how we make it look like it's under the water. We're just going to avoid her skin altogether and her little dress. And we're just going to go around and add this darker blue. Now you can do this with gray if you want. Like I said, it just depends on the color that, or the kind of the theme that you're going for. If you're working in a swamp or something murky, you might want to go for a dark mossy green color. It's totally up to you. So as we work this in, you guys get comfy. If you're following along, welcome. If you're just here to watch, grab a chair, grab a snack, grab some coffee or some tea, and enjoy the process with us. Now I'm just barely adding a little bit of color right through here where you can see the water sort of rippling up in front of her there. So now I'm going to go farther out. I'm going to go to the shadowy parts under the snowdrifts. And I'm going to add this color. And I'm going to, give it a good dose. You don't have to really scrub your color in, just a light hand. When I'm trying to keep my color light, I'll hold the pencil way back here. That way you can't apply too much pressure to it on accident. And that's usually where I hold my pencil when I'm just trying to get a light coverage on an area. But we do want that darker color. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera there. I'm going to do that sparingly through these piles of snow. And what we're trying to do is show depth, that the snow is piled up on each other and it's making these kinds of drifts. And as you can see, the more shadow we add, the more depth it gives to the snow itself. Kind of makes the white look whiter. Just take your time. I'm going really, really light around those areas. But anywhere that you can see kind of a fold in the snow, or where the snow is actually piled up, you're going to want to darken that area. Just follow the grayscale. Around the edges. It's really about the shadows. The darker areas around the snow are what gives the snow that light, puffy softness. Now I'm going to set this color aside, and I'm going to grab kind of a medium dusty blue. This one's number 4612. I'm sorry I didn't give you the number of the last one. It was number 4018. Hope you can see that there. And this one is 4612. And I'm going to go right in above the color that we just laid down. These are sort of mid-tone colors. They're not the darkest parts. Some light is getting to this area, but it's still, you know, kind of in a dip or a valley. It's still got some shadow happening in there. So you want to add that in. You can be a little more generous with this color. You can even go back over the darker color with it. And just remember to keep your pressure light. You don't have to overdo it. And this area is going to get a lot of this color right here, because it's kind of in the middle. It's not a highlight and it's not a shadow, it's just kind of reflecting the snow and absorbing some of the shadow at the same time. And you can add this in the water as well. And as you can see, let me zoom in a bit. You can see how you can really tell where those shadowy parts, where that snowdrift is coming over and just barely touching the water, and capturing all of that darkness underneath, because it's not going all the way down to the water, it's just sort of drifted over. Very, it's very subtle, but you can definitely see it. Now, if you want to take a lighter blue still, you can, or if you want to use white, you absolutely can. I think what I'm going to do, I don't have a true white in this set. I'm going to leave it because this is pretty white. You can actually let your grayscale work for you there. Now, if you have a white gel pen and you want to add snowflakes just to make them brighter, to make the star stand out a little more, absolutely you can. Whatever you want to do with the details. But that's kind of the basic premise of getting snowdrifts and snow to look like it's piling up on each other and just sort of drifting. Let's move over to this page and try some Neocolors. I've got those, excuse me. I've got a nice set of Neocolors. It was given to me as a gift. I am ever so thankful. I will put a link to these in the description, but I'll also link some other options that are really good. They're just not quite so pricey. And what we'll do, we'll actually go with the gray color scheme this time instead of the blue. And as you're in the back, the farther away you are, the darker it's going to be. So we're just going to move along here. And this is just the color black and Neocolors. There's nothing, it's not a special color. I think it's just noir. And don't be afraid to let the grayscale work with you. I mean, that is definitely what it is there for. We are just enhancing it. And you can do the same thing. You can add dark areas to the trees. Next, I'm going to use kind of a medium gray to go over these kind of mid-tones here. And then a much lighter gray. As we get closer. Okay, I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And this is super quick because, you know, we didn't really have to cover a lot of territory on this. You just barely use any water. It does not take a lot of water to activate these paints. Kind of less is more with them. Now remember, it'll look a little darker because of the water as it dries. It's not going to look quite this bold. Of course, you can go in and darken up some of these branches. Now the neat thing about the Neocolor is you can actually add white if you want to add more snow to the trees. You can do that. You can go in with the white and just make some marks like the snow is sticking to the side of the trees. You can leave it just like that, or you can paint it in. This is drying, obviously. If you want to add, you know, more white, you can, but there's really not a lot of need to do that. Your paper's already white, and it's, once it dries, it's really going to give you that depth that you're looking for. I was hoping it would dry a little faster. But that is basically the secret to snow drifts and piles of snow and getting it to look really white and puffy. because everything that you don't shadow and contour stands out as really extra white. So as soon as this dries, everything that we didn't paint is going to look extremely white against the background. I wish I had a fan. I could make it dry a little faster, but we don't. We'll just give it a few minutes. And again, you can take a white gel pen or a white drawing pencil and go in and enhance the snowflakes, make them just a little bit more, make them stand out a little more. I thought I had some of those nearby. Let me see if I can find them. Maybe I just thought I did. Nope, I did. I just left them over here. Just a second. And it can be any brand. Mine are Jelly Roll. Let's go back to this other one that we were working on first. You can go in and just add a little extra brightness to the snowflakes, to the stars. You don't have to do anything in the background at all. And it's just totally random. You know, you can follow what's on there. You can add some of your own. And if you want to come in and add more white onto the snow, you can do that, but I suggest that you use a white pencil for that and not necessarily a gel pen, because it is kind of harsh. It's very stark, and you might not necessarily be happy with the outcome of that. But as you can see, definitely stands out as drifting snow. Let's see how this one's drying. And this one the same way. You can see that the snow is drifting in and getting closer to her. It's definitely more of a clearing where she's standing. So I hope that this was helpful. If it was, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I hope that you will do so. If there's something that you're working on, something that you're having a problem with, something that you want some extra practice on, give me a shout. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to work on next, and I'd be happy to help with that. If there's a product that you're using that you'd like to learn more about, whether it is Caran Neocolors, watercolor paint, pencils, gel pens, markers, you name it. We're going to be working with some acrylic markers next week, so that'll be fun. I don't know which book we're going to be working in, and that's another thing. If there's a specific book that you've got that you're working on right now and you'd like me to do a couple of pictures from that book, just give me drop me a line in the description in the comments below, and I will be happy to accommodate. Okay, everybody, I've had a great time hanging out with you this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you next time.